So now I'm going to tell you what I see, what I have already saw, right? The Bible says protect your heart. Put on a breastplate of righteousness so that your heart will not be corrupted, right? You got to protect your heart from all the things that people like to do, because there are a lot of people in this world that are dark, right? And they only seek to disperse darkness into the world because they have not found fulfillment or purpose in this life. So what has taken place is that I'm going to share with you now dreams. Like I said, every now and then I will share some of them when I don't pray or whatever it is. One of them will get through. So this morning I woke up. I said my prayer last night. I went to sleep. I woke up and then I ended up going back to sleep. And what happened was I forgot to say the prayer when I went back to sleep. So when I went back to sleep, I had a dream. Right? I'm not going to go into details about everything that it was, but like I told you, God has given me the gift of interpretation of dreams, even when they're not coming from him. So even when people are trying to confuse me in my dreams, like sorcerers and things of that nature, I still understand everything that they are doing because that is a part of the gift. That's what God has allowed me to have, the gift of interpretation of dreams. What took place was that someone put in my dream, right, that Hispanics were the bad people. Where's my earring? Someone put in my dream that Hispanics were the bad people, right? They did this by trying to show me different, I forgot what I want to call it, but they tried to do it like a parable. That's what they tried to do. They tried to make it as if it were a parable, and they tried to make it as if it was coming from God. But like I said, the way God speaks in dreams is completely different than what a sorcerer or what a witch can do. It's easy to tell the difference. I could go into how it's easy to tell, but I'm not going to, because the truth of the matter is I am dealing with sorcerers and witches, and the only thing that they're doing is stalking and monitoring so that they can perfect their craft. This is what's taking place. That's why I don't explain a lot of the stuff that I see anymore, because I understand what they are doing. But what they did was they decided they were going to plant a seed in my dream that Hispanics were bad. And they wanted me to think the Hispanics were bad. And then what happened when I woke up is that they sent the Hispanic on the phone to be rude. So I was looking at a bus ticket, and I'm seeing that it said it had so many seats left in my computer. And I was getting ready to purchase it. I was supposed to have school tomorrow. So I was going to go ahead and go today. And it's going to take, at least 24 hours. So I said, well, just go today and you'll be at school by tomorrow. It said that there were seats left. The Hispanic got on the phone and told me that my computer was incorrect, that there were no seats. Everything was sold out. I called them. They was like, there's no seats. I'm like, it's telling me that I have seats available. He said, if you purchase it, it's not going to go through because there are no seats. I said, okay, no problem. So what they were trying to do was trying to create a war and a division between me and Hispanics, right? Like they've been trying to do with me and Caucasian people, with me and black people, with me and Indian people, with me and Italian people. Like I was having some issues with one of the teachers. He was Italian, just like one of the people that was on my job. He was Italian. But the problem is the Italian that I had on my job, I actually didn't have any problems with him. Right? We actually got along just fine. I didn't like that some of the stuff that he told me to do was a lie, but people lie in this world, So I was like, him as a person, me and him get along just fine. We speak just fine. We're not disrespectful. He did him, I did me. He did his Italian thing. I'm not a person that everybody don't have to be like me. He was him. He was him. If he would go through the thing and he would be going off on people, he was the boss. That was him. That's who he is, right? And I had no problem with this. Me and him never had any problems. The only problem that I had was that I didn't like some of the stuff that I saw him doing when it came to backsliding me and being a snake towards me. But as far as us communicating and talking, we had absolutely no problem. And I didn't know why he was doing the stuff that he was doing because we and him never had any problems, right? But what happened was that someone tried to send an Italian guy, which was the teacher at school, to be rude towards me, who, had the same name as him, I guess to try to make me think that he was the bad guy. I still don't think that he's the bad guy. I don't have any problems with him whatsoever. Never did. Right? But people do this because they try to create division between me and these different ethnicities, right? Because that's all they know how to do. Just like when it came to President Donald Trump, the moment that I said anything about why are Caucasian women, being so rude and stuff like that, because they've been being rude for the past week and a half. I kept trying to figure out what's the problem. I don't know any Caucasian women, right? But they come and they cut me off and in the grocery stores, and then they get in my personal space when I'm at the gas station. And I'm like, what's going on? And what I realized was that somebody was trying to use that to create a race war, to make it look like all of these races have had an encounter with me, and that's why all of those bad things are happening to them in the world. Because of me. That's why they're sending people to do that. That's why they're trying to make it look like I have issues with different races and ethnicities. Because what they're trying to do, they're trying to pinpoint it and say, well, the next witch trials or her, or she's a danger to society because all of these people she's had encounter with. And now all of these bad things are happening to them on the world. But the truth of the matter is, it's their own hatred that's causing this to go out. I actually don't need to pray against them. Everything that you do ricochets, right? When you put bad things out into the world, it ricochets. It has to go somewhere, right? So whatever race it is that you are dealing with, if you have a race, God humbles everybody at a certain point. When you become arrogant or when you do certain things, he starts to humble you, right? So I don't need to pray against anyone because I just watch them do everything that they do. And I say that's going to come back on them and their people. They don't even know it. They don't even know it. It's going to come back on them. When you have an entire state that is doing something wrong, it's going to come back on the entire state. If there's an entire country that is doing something wrong, it's going to come back on the entire country because no one is trying to fix what is taking place. So it's not me that's causing stuff to happen. It's them that's causing stuff to happen. So what happened was some sorcerer tried to put a thing inside of my dream because what happened was some people that were Hispanic, right? Not all of the people, but they have been giving me wrong information. They have been giving me false information, and it has turned out to be bad for me. Like I had courses set up. I was supposed to be in hybrid courses for this semester, right? Back to back, because I was trying to be financially secure. So I set it up that way. And what happened was a Hispanic woman that was at the school decided to tell me to drop the classes. And I kept trying to figure out why. And she told me to drop the classes. So I dropped the classes. But when I did what she told me to do, what I found out was that the class was changed somehow in my computer to where there were no hybrid courses available for this semester. I now have to wait till October the 12th. Did I take it personally? No, I said, don't worry about it, because I have never done anything to Hispanic people for them to even come at me the way that they are coming at me. And I don't blame all Hispanics. It's just a few individuals that they need help. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. They need help, right? But they wanted to make it look like it's all Hispanics. I've dealt with Hispanics in the military, right? And I still didn't have any problems. It was only like one or two, but it wasn't like a whole culture thing. So that is what's taking place. Was they planted the seed last night to try to make it look like it was coming from God. So I would wake up and be like, see, Hispanics are X, Y, and Z. It didn't come from God because God don't spew hatred, first of all. And then when I got on the phone and I made a phone call, they initially dispatched it, right? Because like I said, somebody's watching me very closely. You have a lot of people that have a lot of networking abilities. And ITs can do all kind of amazing things, right? Especially when your phone is being tapped or watched. So they dispatched it to Hispanic, and he did exactly what they put in the well, he didn't do what they did in the dream. He just behaved the way that they said that he was going to behave, like he was the bad guy. And then he got on the phone and told me there were no bus tickets available to go to school. Now, trusting him as the representative, there were no bus tickets, right? So I said, okay, I will now wait, right, and go to school the next time around. I didn't receive my money in time for me to be able to afford a plane ticket, right? So they did exactly what I said. When I said they already had in motion a way to try to steal all the money from me. My money was not released on the 1st. I had time to buy my ticket on the 1st to get to school, to where it wouldn't have been $700, $800, $900, right? But I didn't get it until the day before yesterday, right? I got it day before yesterday. And what happened was that now when I tried to buy a plane ticket to get back to school, right, it was $900. That was half of the money that I received. I can't afford to do that, right? Because I can't afford to be homeless. I can't even put my AC below 74, okay? Imagine me trying to be in the cold, right? So he did exactly what the sorcerer planted inside of my dream to make it look like Hispanics were bad, so that I would get up and then he will dispatch him, and then he will say something disrespectful, and then I would go on a rant and say, well, Hispanics doing X, Y, and Z, and it will look like a hate monger because people are still trying to create me to be a villain, right? Because of the things that they have done towards me. That's narcissistic behavior, by the way. When you do something towards someone, but then you try to make them out to be the villain, that's narcissistic behavior. So instead of me getting mad, I just said, there's nothing that I can do about it. I can only do what I can do. And then I go about my day. There's nothing in me that's filled with hatred. I'm not permitted to be hateful. I can express my feelings, like last night when I got on the phone. Last night when I started talking to God, I talked to God. And what happened was, while I was talking to God, I told him exactly how I felt. I said, I don't like him. I don't like him. Why? I said, because I have to pray for people that continue to mistreat me. I said, I don't like them because a lot of them are liars. I don't like them because a lot of them are rude and disrespectful. I don't like them because a lot of them don't think. I don't like them because they are confused. I don't like them for everything that they are doing towards me. And then I felt better, right? Because when you try to harbor in feelings, it festers. And I'm not a person that fester. God said you can't be angry. You can't be upset in this world. So a lot of the times what God would do, he will push me to speak to him so that I won't have all of these bottled up feelings. And I tell him exactly how I feel. I also share with him that I wanted to get married. I understand that he has me as a slave of Jesus Christ right now for praying for people. I told him, but I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life. What I want to have a husband so my husband can take the load. And then I can be a submissive little woman, right? Minding my own business, being prissy and everything that I want to be. But right now I feel like I'm preparing for war and battle every day. And I have to be like that so I don't break, right? I'm like that now. But unfortunately, that's not what I want. So I told God that. I said, I'm okay. If I have to wait 10, 15 years to get married, I understand. It's no problem for me, but it's not something that I always wanted to be alone for the rest of my life. I shared that with him as well. So someone saw that as a moment of being vulnerable, right? And they just decided when I woke up, they was going to make me have all type of issues inside of my computers, glitches and stuff like that. I couldn't find the train station that I was trying to find. Couldn't find the bus station I was trying to find. They tried to make it look like, throw subliminals that President Donald Trump is the bad guy and he's the one that's doing all this stuff to me. And this is what they are doing, right? Because what they want me to do, they want me to go and talk about President Donald Trump. They want me to talk about politicians. They want me to have issues and try to pinpoint all of these people so that they can have a reason to want to sabotage me. This is what people are trying to do, but they don't think that God can see this. So this is what I'm dealing with, right? Unfortunately, when you are a servant of God, he transforms your heart to where you don't have anger. Because you can't pray for people when you are angry. It will make you a liar. That's why God puts it on my heart to express my feelings no matter what. No matter if there's somebody's listening or not. He tells me, you need to talk to me now. So last night I was trying to watch television. I couldn't find anything to watch. I said, what's wrong, God? It feels like you want me to talk to you, but I don't even know what to talk to you about. And then I just started talking. I told him everything that I felt. And that's what took place. He said, you needed to get that off your chest. And I got it off my chest. I said, okay, I feel better. I woke up this morning. I felt better. I felt better last night. I actually didn't even realize I felt any type of way, but God knows everything. He said, it's about to come. You're about to feel some type of way. So you need to talk to me now. And I did. So people kept trying to pinpoint, trying to make me think this politician was bad. This politician is bad. This politician is X, Y, and Z. So that I would say something because, like I said, people are listening to my conversations and then those people will feel some type of way. And then they will want to have a reason to want to hurt me. But God said it's not your job to be out here painting people as bad. That's not what we do in the kingdom of God. So he tells me, don't say anything about anyone. Just pray for people, which is what I do. Now, another thing that I also saw, too, is that you got military personnel walking around and they were making a big deal about this personnel shooting someone. I don't know what happened where they ended up having to shoot a civilian, but they were but they were deployed, right, to keep the city safe, right? So if you need to understand duties and responsibilities. I'm not going to go into that, but what the devil wanted to try to do, they tried to make me think that military personnel was watching me so they can have a reason to just want to unleash their weapons on me, right? So people go out in town. When I go out in town, they're rude and disrespectful towards me. They're all in my personal space, being nasty, cutting me off and doing all kind of stuff. And they want me to say something so the military personnel can be on standby, right? And then that'll be their way of me being executed or killed in this world. The problem is I don't have an issue with military personnel, and if they have a problem with me, they need to understand or figure out why. Because I've been out of the military for how many years now? I don't bother anybody. I don't have any issues with anybody. The military does not bother me. I can look at all of the people that did me wrong in the military and give them a hug today. Do you want to know why? Because it was time for me to get out of the military. It was time. It was time for me to go. God said I wasn't supposed to go, but because of everything that was taking place, he said, you have to go now, because it's a lot of people that are being brought against you. They are being manipulated and deceived. And it is not good for you to stay in the military. So he allowed them to do what they did. So I have no no bad feelings about anything that happened to me. Anyone that lied to me in the military, anyone that did something to me. Because what I saw was the silver lining. The silver lining is there was too much going on. People were being deceived. People were being manipulated. And if I did not get out at that time, what would have taken place was that it would have been very bad for me. So I have no issues with the military, and the military should not have any issues with me. But people want to create problems and issues between me and the military. And the reason why the reason why they're trying to use all these different organizations was because at some point, all of these different organizations have done something to me. So why everybody's constantly talking about karma, you want to talk about karma? I don't say karma. I say it's God doing it. But everybody talk about karma. So since you want to talk about karma, let's just point out the fact that everybody did something to me. So maybe you need to think, is this karma coming back on all the stuff that we did to this young woman who did not deserve it? And what's worse is that you keep doing it. So trying to make it look like it's her prayers that's causing all these people to die and natural disasters and stuff like that. If you want to focus on karma because you don't want to believe in God, then let's talk about karma. The karma is all of you did something to me you were not supposed to be doing. And you continuously keep doing it for absolutely no reason when I'm just trying to live my life and move on. So it is you. You're the problem. And I'm not going to feel any type of way. Karma has made you its target. For those that are Christian, that believe in God, God have made you his target. Jesus is ready to unleash his sword because you can't seem to stop doing the bad stuff that people have taught you how to do. You are being misled. That's why it's very important for you to make sure you have wise counsel that leads you in the right direction. Someone is leading you guys in the wrong direction. And it is going to cost you dearly. And it won't be me. It won't have anything to do with me, which is why I continuously keep getting on my channel, trying to guide people in the different direction. Even though I'm the one that's catching the brunt of it. But you are so filled with hatred. You're so filled with darkness, you can't see. And you're the cause of everything that's happening to you and your people. And your society, and your nation. Also, by the way, I don't know what happened last night, but what I know is that while someone was trying to make it look like the Hispanics were bad, they were also trying to make me think that Asians were bad too, by the way. They were trying to make it look like I said, some people have this thing where they can go in, they try to find they call it where they're trying to, I guess, find the deepness of your heart, like what's truly in your heart, which is why a lot of the times God is snatching me out of dreams. It's because you think that you're getting information, but your information is wrong, completely wrong. Right? They have this thing where they try to I don't know how you do it on your end. I don't know how you do it on your end. But there are times where I notice where God will snatch me out of a dream, because what someone is doing, they're trying to make it appear as though it is the what's really in my heart, like they're reading my heart, and it's wrong. So what someone tried to do is they tried to make it look like deep down inside I have a problem with Asians. I don't. That's what they tried to make it look like last night. That's why I say you need to get out of your dreams, because you don't understand it. They tried to make it look like I have a problem with Asians. And then they tried to turn around and make it look like Hispanics had a problem with me. And they wanted to make it look like I had a problem with Asians, right? So that I would get up and then there will be a problem with Asians. But I don't have any issues with Asians. None. I don't have an issue with any ethnicity. Besides, I think that all of you are part of the same group. And you're being led to do the same crazy stuff because you feel with darkness. That's it. So that's what took place. We was trying to make it look like I had an issue with Asians. So sometimes I don't know what you guys do on your end, when you witches and sorcerers or whatever it is, or whatever. I don't even know what to call it because I don't even know how you do it. So I don't want to just put it on witches and sorcerers, to be honest, because I don't know what you are doing or how you do it on your end. But what I know is what I see is what God tells me. And God tells me they have this thing where they are able to go into the spiritual realm and try to read your heart to make it look like this is your true desires, right? Like someone put it on my heart, tried to put it at one point that I still had deep feelings for an ex-boyfriend. And I'm waking up like, what are you talking about? That's where did that even come from? And then that's when God told me the interpretation of the dream is that they're trying to make it look like this is deep within your heart. And I'm like, these people can be the farthest from the truth. They have no idea what's going on. I have no past feelings about any boyfriend that I have had. I have moved on. I still care for all of them, right? I still care for every last one of them. But do I love them? Absolutely not. But in the dream, it made it look like I was just head over heels for one of my past boyfriends, or for a couple of them for that matter. And I'm like, where did that come from? And then that's when God starts speaking to me. He's like, no, that's not in your heart. That's what someone is trying to make appear in your heart, because they want you to try to go back to the past boyfriends that you had. The same thing happened. There was something else that happened when it came to my stepsister. And I was like, that's not how I feel at all. That's not how I feel at all. And God was like, yeah, I know, right? But I'm explaining it to you because this is what they're doing on their end. And you need to understand what they're trying to do. They want you to believe this, right? Which is why they keep messing with your dreams and stuff like that. They keep trying to put it, because they think you don't know anything about dreams. So they keep trying to put stuff inside of your dreams so that you will believe it, thinking that it's you, right? And now I have to explain what's going on so you will know, like, that's not you, right? That's what God does. He gives me the interpretation of dreams, just like he gives me the interpretation of other stuff, literature and stuff like that. Now, I'm not too smart. I don't believe in being smart. I believe that you get your information from one or two places. Either you get it from God or you get it from the devil. And whatever it is that I put my hands on, whatever it is that I read, whatever it is that I do, I believe that God would give me the interpretation of it because he led me to it. And the same thing goes if you work for the devil. He would give his people their interpretation of it, whatever it is or whatever it is, right? But it's much different than when it comes from God, right? So do I believe that I'm smart? No, I don't. Do I believe that I'm intelligent? No, I don't. I just believe I have God on my side, and whatever he leads me to, he will give me the interpretation of it. If there are people that are doing stuff inside of my dreams, and he will give me the gift of interpretation of dreams so that I won't fall on the wrong path. That's what he would do. And at any moment, I can be considered slow. There are plenty of stuff where I'm like, wow, I can't believe you are able to interpret all of this stuff, but you having a problem spelling this word, right? Where does that come from? You know, it's just normal. It's normal. You can't remember everything. It's just normal. That's what happens. I'm like, you forget about this homophone. But if somebody put a book in front of you and tell you to explain X, Y, and Z, you can do it. Everybody got their weaknesses. Point blank, period. So get out of your dreams. Because many of you think you know stuff and you don't. And I'm getting sick of you always trying to create division. Create your own villain. All of you are villains. So go stand in front of never mind, I'm not going to say that, God. Never mind, I'm not going to say that. You're villains. You are villains. You are villains. You're manipulative, you're deceitful, you're filled with hatred, you're filled with darkness, and you don't have the proper counsel to guide you in the right direction. So everything that you are doing, you are destroying your own people and your own nation. So deal with yourself. And back up off me at the grocery store. It's the only place that I get to go when I leave the house. I don't have nothing else to do. Why are you always on me at the grocery store?